So we head east, we go to Tucumcari, and then up 54 and up State Road 402.
Yeah. So you go north out of there. There's a road that comes in from the west. I forget the number of it, but it goes to Rosebud.
About in here,
On a cold February day, John Doughty and Terry Hardin went in search of carbon-14.
Let me zoom in, and more detail pops up as you zoom in. Like I mentioned earlier, Russ said we may be collecting dry ice because it's so cold.
Under the flat terrain of northeast New Mexico lies one of the world's largest CO2 reservoirs.
Okay, we're at the Bravo Dome facility, and right here is the gauge and outlet. This is the entrance before the compressor, before all this CO2 gas is put in a pipeline and sent down to Denver City, Texas to flood oil wells in the Permian Basin. So, to get some idea, this great big facility here is just so we can have more gasoline in our cars. So all the CO2 goes down in there, and of course it goes right into the wells down there, raises the level of the oil in the field, and they can just pump it out easier. Much more economical, and they can get all the oil out and not have to drill deeper. So it's economical. So nice here, because then I can get the summation of all the wells that are input is about 541 according to the literature. So I get the summation of all that right here for the whole field. So it'd be nice to get the CO2 sample, Xenon sample, in just one spot. So we got about 144 psi. This is perfect. I won't even have to hardly adjust anything. I'll be taking the samples directly to the University of Arizona for the CO2 analysis, and to another location yet to be disclosed for the Xenon analysis. So this is an ideal setup. Instead of going from well to well and having to get an average for the representative sample of the several wells in the field, I get the whole thing right here. So, in my opinion, this is a godsend. It doesn't really matter that much because the system was evacuated. And even if it wasn't, just flush through with the material.
As long as you don't get any backflow.
Yeah, don't want any backflow. You don't worry about the contamination here like we do with getting the CO2 samples.
So these are your main collection bottles. What are the smaller bottles used for?
CO2. For the carbon-14.
314.
They run 10 cc cylinders.
Okay.
These are 300 cc's. They're for the Xenon. And that's about the smallest volume, I think. So we'll have, a total of two, that'd be 600 cc's.
While waiting for assistance, John recharges the collection system with helium to ensure that no modern C-14 will enter the collection bottles. The first step is to fill the cylinders that will be used to sample the minute traces of xenon. Next, the smaller cylinders used to measure the C14 content of the CO2 are filled. The pressure in those cylinders is regulated down by bleeding off some of the pressure in the system.
Well, I'm going to connect the vacuum pump to the system. The system's going to get opened up as soon as I take these sample bottles off. As soon as we open this whole system up, it's opened up to the air. And of course you get CO2, modern CO2 in the air. So we have to get it out of the system before we go to the next sampling site. Next we'll open up the system. So these are all closed, so we can take them off. Okay, we're replacing, these cylinders have been pumped down in Albuquerque, so they're okay. I'm going to connect them to the system. But the main thing is we're going to have to pump this line out right through here. So we're going to pump it out after we get the new cylinders connected. Okay, they're connected. Now we'll take these sample bottles off. I tell you, this is the coldest sampling I've ever done. All the other samplings have been in the springtime or summer or fall, never in the wintertime. There she is. There should be some caps to go on those. Okay. Now we'll take take these caps off and put them on the cylinders that we just. Now these bottles we installed have about 25 psi of helium in them. So. But we're not going to evacuate them. These are closed off, these are closed off. So what we want to do is empty out this part of the system. It's full of air right now, so we got to get rid of that. So now we've got the vacuum pump here, and then we got to connect up the helium bottle over here. About 45 psi. Of helium.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, we got minus 24 inches of mercury. So now this, up to here, up to here. This line, okay, all the way to here is pumped out. So now we close this valve. Okay, close this valve and turn it off. I got a question for you.
By the time John and Terry reached the other site, less than an hour away. Thankfully, the sun has made an appearance and the wind has died down.
At least 3 times. Yeah, this is either the 4th or 5th time. That should work just fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're about 125 going in.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Open this guy first.
The CO2 is allowed to flow freely through the system to ensure that nothing but pure CO2 from the well is present.
Now then,
About 110.
yeah, it's over 100. So, I'm gonna open these up, and then we'll bleed them off. So we got these. So these are now full,
Okay,
and
so we gotta turn this one off.
close this one off, and this is open. And now we slowly want to.
Drop the pressure. Now you gotta turn this
No,
valve
no, no!
on.
Don't open that one
Once-
yet.
Once you get the pressure down a little bit. We're trying to fill these at low pressure. And so what we're doing, we block this off, bleed the pressure down.
Are you trying to drop something in here also?
We're going to trap low pressure in these, high pressure in those. Okay, you're just below 60.
We're
Let me
going to do it a couple of times. Okay, all valves closed.
let's close those two.
Closed. Close this valve.
Let's close this one.
Valve
That one's closed. Okay.
Clean. Good.
Where's that?
A final look back at the facility before departing, and a brief interlude to enjoy the scenic beauty of northeast New Mexico. A day well spent.
Reminds me of Bandolier and all the stuff along the Continental Divide.